Microphone check. Let me know if y'all can hear me, see me, and all that beautiful stuff. Let me turn that light. Alrighty. It's my first time doing it on my little channel, so I just want to make sure everyone can hear me properly, clearly. You gotta, I guess, in order to actually type, you have to make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe, you're able to type, but I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, I literally did not have time to test anything because I just came from work. But once everyone lets me know that they can hear me, we shall proceed. Bam. Okay, cool. You got it. All right. Shout out Queen Parker. I see you. All righty. Beautiful. Beautiful. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing beautiful on this Monday. We starting the week, baby. We're getting the week started the right way. I did have a little presentation, but I don't see where I can do it here. So we're not even gonna worry about it right now. We'll do that for the next. Oh, share screen. I have a share screen option. Okay, bam. I see that. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it like a couple more minutes. I know people probably getting off work, probably cutting through traffic, driving like, oh, I gotta hurry up and get. I gotta hurry up and get there. Gotta hurry up and make sure I catch the week one. People cut through traffic. Hey, don't be going crazy in traffic right now. Just slow down. Drive calmly, do all that stuff, and everything shall be fine. Actually, let me see. I have a window. I wonder if. Okay, I'll do this one. I'm gonna try this bad boy out real quick. Let me try this. Okay, beautiful. It actually kind of works out. Bam. All right. This is what we're gonna be getting into today. We're gonna be getting into some of this. You in traffic too, CJ? Ah, man. All right. Well, let me get back here. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be discussing how to properly maintain and take care of our bodies after a particular challenge. Because I was having a conversation. I was having a conversation with my lady, and I was just, we was talking about health and wellness. And, I would tell her about the challenges, and a lot of people, when it comes to a challenge, they'll succeed or they'll reach the particular height that they're able to reach in a challenge. Whether it's the DR 48 that we're doing, or maybe it's something else that we're, maybe doing a water challenge, a juicing challenge, and they have amazing results. They have good results, and then they get excited, and then they get pumped. But then after the challenge, there starts to be some little hiccups that happen because there's no particular direction that you're guided to go to, as far as make sure that you're maintaining a healthy life and that you're doing things that are going to make sure that you see that you get the benefits of the fasting challenges or the challenges that you got. But moving forward, you're not under the gazing eyes of the coaches, and you're not really checking in with anyone. So I was just like, man, I really want to see everyone make progress and sustain that progress over a period of time. Because once we're in that challenge, we get excited, we get happy, we get all this motivation. But once the challenge happens, there's a sense of clarity that's lost. So I wanted to create this after the challenge, just so people who don't necessarily have a direction that they're seeking to go, they at least have an understanding of what needs to be done, the direction that they need to go, and the things that's going to make sure that you maintain a healthy lifestyle afterwards. Okay. So that's what the basis of this is going to be consistent around. So everything that we're going to be doing, it's going to like for this week today, we're going to be talking about nutrition and mindful eating. And I want to do this for 4 weeks. So this is week one. And so the next 3 weeks, I guess, after this week, we'll talk about the other thing. But today we're primarily going to be focused on nutrition and mindful eating and the things that we need to do in order to, sustain the lifestyle that we like. So I'm gonna do a little share screen. Hold on, let me see if this is how I want it. Before I share, let me see if I actually, forget it. I'll go ahead and let's see. All right. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. All right. So today we are going to be discussing maintaining our health. And this starts with nutrition and mindful eating. And the reason why I created this is to help everyone and to help us stay on track, for after the challenge, as I just stated. Now, before any session, I like to start with I like to go to affirmation. So today's affirmation is I nourish my body mindfully, honoring it with balanced choices and intentional eating habits. And this is exactly what we need to be doing is making sure that we're making balancing choices and intentional eating habits. Now, we need to understand our body's nutritional needs. We need to educate ourselves. And so when you think about your body and the things that you need to put in it, everything that you need to put in it, it's literally going to come from a plant. The source of it, it's going to come from a plant. It's going to come from fruit. It's going to come from water. It's going to come from nature. It's going to come from the sun. And so these are the things that we typically need to make sure that we are focused on throughout this entire process. And in order to properly know what our body needs, like nobody knows your body better than you. You know the pains that you have in your body, all the aches that you get, all of the things that you experience on a daily basis. And so once you have a good education, you actually have a good resource of the things that you need, when it comes to your macronutrients and all that. But we don't necessarily need to get into the science of it, but we need to just look at some foods, make sure they're not overly processed, make sure they're not, heavily in, has sugar in it and things of that nature, and making sure that we prioritize the things that are going to make us, feel better and feel good about what we're eating. Because a lot of times when you eat something, it may taste good and it may feel good in the moment, but as time progresses, you start to feel worse and things like that. And Azari, no, you didn't miss a lot, Azari. I just got started for real. But yeah, but that's the main thing that we need to make sure that we focus on, that we understand the proper amount of things that we need to do. So throughout this entire process, we want to make sure that we're hydrated. We want to make sure that we are hydrated, that we're drinking water, when we're drinking our water, that we're putting chia seeds within our water. Because a lot of times, have you all ever, like, when you drink water, you just feel like as if it's just going straight through you and just going right to the restroom? That's because while water does hydrate the body, a lot of things that we consume, it takes on the hydration. And then once we're able to consume it through fruits, our body is more receptive to it. So a lot of times, water is used as a lubricant to get the bowels moving. It get the bowels moving and it helps you, you know, get it out, in one way or the other. But once you eat fruits like watermelon and, cantaloupe, those really watery fruits, you get the benefits of H3O. So make sure that we utilize a lot of things that we've learned throughout these challenges, and that we're properly hydrating ourselves. And another thing that is really beneficial is something that I've learned, which is it's more of a mental thing, but it actually really works. And it's where you have a good portion control of the things that you're eating. So you have a good portion control that you're able to minimize the amount that you're consuming. So if you have a big plate, a lot of times when we're eating, we feel as if we need to eat absolutely everything on our plate. So we'll have a big plate and we're like, and I know I'm guilty of this at times as well. Like, well, I'll have a plate and I'll make sure I fill it up, with everything that I like. and then I'll eat it and then maybe I'll go back. But what if you decided to change the size of the plate or the things that you're eating on? And so once you change the amount that you or the size of the plate, it will change the frequencies of how many times that you decide to go back to eat something or that you decide to go and get seconds and thirds and things of that nature, because you will start to think about the activity that's going on and how many times you're getting up and that you're going back to eating things when you know what, we need to learn to not eat until we're full. We need to just make sure that we're eating to it. You know what? I'm good. I'm good on this. So we need to understand our bodies and how that stuff is going to play a role in our health moving forward. Now, as I stated, the when we're making plans to cook or we're making plans for our week, we need to make sure that we have a detailed plan at the beginning of each week. At the beginning of each week, make sure that we have a good idea of what we want to eat, how much we want to eat, when we want to eat, and the time that we want to eat. Now, if you learn anything from a healthy alternative and how we consume things, we absolutely skip breakfast. We skip breakfast for like the first 2, 3 hours upon waking up. We're going to be consuming water. Water is going to be the main thing that we focus on for like the first 2 to 3 hours upon waking up. And the reason why we do this is because, like, while we're sleeping, our body is still adjusting. Our body it's working hard. It did all that hard work while we were sleeping, you know. But you actually notice this once you start doing it. Once you drink that water, you will start to flush out all the things that you had on the previous day, and maybe even extra stuff that was left over. So once you're able to drink that water, you consume that water, first 2, 3 hours, you know, give your body a chance to reset. And you don't, and you can like even put, as I said, chia seeds. You can put some lemon in your water if you like that, or to get a more alkalized type of vibe, you can, put lime. You can put lime inside of your water as well. But and I know it may be like out of routine or out of habit because we've been taught, since a kid that, hey, we have to have breakfast, we have to have all these amounts of meals throughout the day, that we need to do this, that we need to do that. But no, listen to your body. A lot of times your body is following the programming that you gave it. So you have to adjust your body back into the regular cycle that it's meant to, that's going to help it. So definitely make sure that you utilize a meal plan and that you drink water first 3 hours of the day. And this is for every single day. So this meal plan is going to include nutrient rich foods, obviously vegetables are going to be good. And if anyone out there, y'all eat meat, I respect it. I don't, hate on anyone's dietary choices unless it's like bad for you. It's going to cause sickness. But obviously, if anyone out there, they like their meats and things of that nature, make sure you get meats that are good. It's free from any type of processed or heavily GMO type stuff, because it's just going to lead to you getting sick. And the last thing that we need to do is get sick when we're trying to be healthy or live a healthy lifestyle. Okay. And so, and a lot of things that you get from meat, you can actually get from nuts, walnuts, and there's so many different types of nuts. It's like Brazilian nuts. And once you learn about the different nuts and how they are like really beneficial for you, you'd be like, oh man, all the nutrients that they say I need to get from meat is what I can actually just get from nuts. And so yeah, so make sure you're drinking your water, you're getting your vegetables, you're getting your fruits, you're getting your healthy grains, the quinoa. Substitute some quinoa for some white rice, and maybe you can substitute that white rice. Like if someone likes white rice, and which is basically enriched, you could substitute quinoa. You could also do lentils. You could do quinoa, lentils. You can also do like wild rice, which is like a good option. It's a little thicker, a little harder, but that's also another good option for like grains and things of that nature. But there are plenty options out there that you can choose, when it comes to eating a healthy meal. And so what I ended up doing is just creating a quick reference of a grocery list, because think about this, like when you go in your cabinet, let's say if you go in your cabinet right now, we'll naturally, there's probably like a staple of the things that we have in our cabinets. There's a staple of the things that we already just gonna have there, maybe like sugar, maybe milk, maybe tea, maybe all of these different things. But I want you to start to get into the habit of making sure that you have fresh food, fresh produce, and fresh, just essentials that, so you don't have to think about anything else that you're going to consume. And I know it may not be the ideal food, food choices, but pick food options that, that line up within your agreements. Like if you enjoy broccoli and potatoes and things of that nature, start to buy those foods, and it just becomes a norm inside of your pantry, and inside of your in your home, in your refrigerator. And these are things that you all are going to need to consume and get into the habit of getting to daily. Okay. So here I have the produce that we should get. Look at spinach, kale, celery, cucumbers, carrots, avocados, tomatoes, lemons, fresh ginger, broccoli, sweet potatoes, collard greens, sprouts. There's so many other options out there. String beans. Y'all like string beans? I like string beans. Or green beans? I rock with those green beans. And also I enjoy Brussels sprouts. If you like Brussels sprouts, that's another option, even though it's still within the same family of broccoli, but that is another option that we can go to. Olive oil, tahini. We got apple cider vinegar and Himalayan salt, coconut oil, coconut aminos. I used to have some of those. Quinoa, brown rice, herbal teas, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. I got some pumpkin. Hold on, what is these? I got pumpkin seeds right here. Like these are nice little snacks that I just keep on deck. Pumpkin seeds, veggie broth, hummus, almond milk, coconut water. These are all things that we should just start to get into the habit of buying and making sure that it's just in our pantry. So when we're getting hungry, that we can just automatically default to these things instead of going into the pantry looking for chips and looking for all these greasy snacks and looking for all these overly produced snacks that has so many things in it, has so many ingredients in it that we can't even pronounce it properly, right? Like if you can look at ingredients on the back of something and it has words you can't pronounce or that you struggle to pronounce, they have all these cues, they have all these numbers. It's just like, no, this is not what the body is meant to consume. So we need to get into the habit of making sure that we're eating foods that don't have all these ingredients in it. And I was I was at the grocery store, what was it, maybe a couple weeks ago, and I'm not sure in y'all part of the country what y'all have, but it's this grocery store called Sprouts. And when I was in Sprouts, I was looking at some of the produce, and this is like watermelon season. So summer's about to start, and we're about to get into those, a lot of fruit, those fruit that contain a lot of water, like watermelon, honeydew, and cantaloupe and things of that nature. And so we need to make sure that when we're getting these things that they're organic. But I was noticing that when I was looking for organic watermelon, the only options that I had to choose from were organic seedless watermelon, or it would be the seeded watermelon, but it wouldn't be organic. And I was just like, why is it so difficult to simply find organic watermelon with seeds in it? If it's organic in the stores, they'll have it without seeds. And also they'll have it the GMO version. I'm just like, why does it have to be such a difficult task to find organic watermelon with seeds in it? It's becoming much harder and much harder. And I even noticed when I was, I was at the grocery store, they have like lemons. They make lemons now. I didn't know that was a thing. They make lemons now with just seedless lemons. I was just like, what is this? Seedless lemons? Like, this is a thing now? That's crazy. And so there's nothing organic about seedless. Like, no, we produce. Like, life is life. Life produces life. And it's always so when men decide to put their little paws in the things that we consume, that they take the life out of things that we consume. So it may be a little harder to find a lot of organic fruits, depending on your area. But I believe they have like different websites where you can like purchase or you can buy some of the seeds and you can just do it on your own. But that in itself, in my opinion, is a monopoly. But I mean, that's a whole different rabbit hole. But yeah, just be mindful of the things that you consume and the things that you eat, because a lot of things that we think are is healthy for us sometimes, they play all these little games and we have to jump through all these hoops just to find something that's healthy for us. Okay. But just keep that in mind and think about it. Now, I did come up with a meal breakdown in preparation of what we should be consuming and what we should be, like what we should be consuming, and also when we should be consuming it. And so, what did I ended up, because I didn't want to just tell y'all, hey, you need to eat healthy, and this is what you need to get on your list, So you can look at this here and this list here. I'll go over it briefly. So for the day one, from the day one to day two, what we want to do is, have this is basically like being easy on your digestive system. It's being really easy on your digestive system. So when I'm talking about eating meals, you're going to have to change the amount that you eat and the amount that you choose to consume throughout the day. So you're going to change the amount that you eat and also when you're going to consume it throughout the day. So you would have to pick something that resonates with you based on your schedule and your work day when you go to sleep. So you kind of want to just time it based on your sleep schedule and also the times when you're going to be available to eat. So I always say start with a smoothie because it has so many different minerals and so many vitamins, and it has so many different options that you can choose from, that you're able to get the benefits of each one. So if you get like a green detox smoothie, which is going to consist of spinach, kale, cucumber, avocado, celery, coconut water, fresh lemon juice, like these are what we can consume. And now you don't necessarily have to pick this particular smoothie if this isn't what you like. There's plenty of other options out there, but this is just what we're going to start with, okay? And so the green detox smoothie. And then this is going to happen for both days. And then later on, just depends on where you are in your diet. What we can do is go into like a blended vegetable soup. If anyone out there, maybe y'all some chefs out there, y'all be cooking, y'all be in the kitchen whipping it up. I don't know. But if you have a vegetable soup that resonates with you, and you don't necessarily have to follow everything to the core, but we do want to make sure that we are eating things that are full of nutrients and that they're going to be good for us in the long run. So I'll typically, have like a blended vegetables that have zucchini, celery, carrots, and onion, garlic, vegetable broth, herbs, and things of that nature. And just so you can consume it, and like maybe you could, if you don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have like instructional videos on how to make the tomato soup. If you don't know how to make your own, or if you know like a Whole Foods or maybe like a restaurant that sells, naturally blended soup, do that. But I typically like to encourage people to make their own because where the ingredients came from. Firsthand where you got it from, when it was blended, how long it was staying there, if it's fresh or not. So we have all of these things that are at our that we can utilize to make sure that we're eating properly and that there's not ingredients in there that we can't eat. And I know, since I live a dietary lifestyle that consists of herbivores, or an herbivore diet, in a sense where basically I'm just eating fruits and veggies. I know for me, I would have to, make the things myself unless it's like a quote unquote vegan type of restaurant, because a lot of times I don't trust a lot of people. They put oils and they put secret ingredients and things that I know I wouldn't be okay with. So your diet is particular to you. So just make sure that when you're cooking something, that it's healthy for you and it's not going to cause more harm than good. And I know we also have people who eat, different varieties of meat. I would I would suggest and I would recommend that you would forego certain types of meat. So I would immediately just eliminate poultry. Sorry, not poultry, pork. I would immediately just get rid of pork because pork it's tied to a lot of things that aren't good for you, you know. And I know everyone has things that oh, they can't go without meat. I respect it, but I would also suggest to slowly start to see how you can wean your way from eating meat. You know, how you can. You know, I'm not no pressure or anything, but how can you slowly wean your way from that and just see how you feel? You know, because we enjoy meat and we like to eat it and things like that because oh, it tastes good, it's the best, it's the greatest and stuff like that. But let's see if we can slowly wean our way from eating meat and see the benefits that we'll receive. Because think about it, when we were prepping for the DR 48, what did we do? We stopped consuming all of the stuff that we used to consume, and then we just ended up following what was outlined in the book. And we ended up losing weight before the challenge even happened. And that's simply because we changed what we were consuming, right? So, if you can see the benefits of cutting back on bread and cutting back on all of these heavy carbs and all of this meat, which brings fat into our bodies, you can see the benefits that happen and that you get from just focusing on fruits and veggies and understanding that you don't need to consume as much as they say you need to consume. Like you will start to notice that once your body gets into that habit of consuming things it actually needs, you'll get so much energy. That's why a lot of people, like when they're going through a fast or they're going through prepping for a challenge, they start to get more energy than normal because they're not putting their bodies in those situations where there's so much being weighed down on them. And sometimes people can't sleep because their body just doesn't know what to do with all this energy. And it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing, but you'll notice it as you go through the process. Okay. And now, so for day one and day two, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do our green detox smoothie, and we're going to focus on a blended vegetable type soup. Now, day three and day four, we're going to make sure that that we're prepped and that we're ready for our raw veggie salads. And as I stated before, it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly what this is. You know, if you don't like particular types of veggies and things like that, you can make your own salad how you like it, but just make sure that the ingredients are all whole and that they're not filled with those things that we can't pronounce. Okay. So, but you will have a raw veggie salad, which, arugula, baby spinach, cucumber, avocado, cherry tomatoes, carrots, olive oil, lemon juice, and sea salt. And cherry tomatoes are really good. Like I think those are like an underrated. I think those cherry tomatoes are an underrated ingredient. It's an underrated ingredient, in my opinion. Or maybe I'm just late to the game and I'm just getting hip to the cherry tomatoes, man. But in that case, y'all should have put me on. Where y'all been at? But yeah, so and also quinoa veggie bowls. Those are really good. Quinoa veggie bowls, what? Those bad boys are really good. And you want to make sure you clean the quinoa first because a lot of times if you don't clean the quinoa, it'll probably create a weird taste. But clean the quinoa, then cook the quinoa. Get some broccoli in that bad boy. Get some sweet potatoes. You can chop those bad boys up. Oh, hold on, camera went away. Come back, camera. Come on, wake up. All right, there we go. Now, the also avocado. If you like avocado, make sure you check out some avocado. I know my body doesn't necessarily agree with avocado, but actually it's actually been adjusting. But pumpkin seeds, you can put that, and you can also use some seeds and nuts, and you can blend it up and you can turn it into a sauce. And that can be like something that you add into your quinoa bowl. But I'm sure there's better chefs out there than me, so y'all can prep it the way that y'all like, and it'll be good. But make sure you just get a lot of nutrients within it, and eat that bad boy for day 3 and day 4 because those are going to be fully packed with nutrients. And like I said, every day we're going to make sure that we're consuming our water, that we're staying hydrated, and that we're doing things that's going to make sure that we're receiving the benefits of what we're consuming. Okay. Now, day 5 and day 6, I suggest, let's go to a Mediterranean wrap, which is obviously going to consist of collard greens. The wrap, the leaf, like the big old leaf. You can get a big old leaf and wrap that bad boy and just eat it from the leaf. And then they also do have like, gluten-free wraps and things of that nature. And you can use hummus and sliced cucumbers sprouts, tomatoes, olives, and avocado. That's going to be for our Mediterranean wrap. And if, like I said, if there's any wrap out there that, that has the ingredients that you prefer, go for it. All for it. I'll rock with it. And then veggie stir fry in the kitchen, wrist whipping like a stir fry. Get out there with that broccoli, carrots, bell peppers, snap peas, garlic, ginger, brown rice, coconut aminos, and sesame seeds. I promise you, this is going to make your tongue do backflips. It's going to make your tongue do backflips out there. Like there's so much joy in just seeing something that you create, especially when it comes with so much color. Like I get excited just seeing like green, red, purple, orange, and dark brown, light brown, all these different colors in my meal. I get excited. So and each of them, they have a different vitamin or a different benefit that's going to nurture your body. It has a different ingredient. It has things that's going to nurture your body. So make sure that you're utilizing and having a colorful bowl. Okay. Now, the for day 7, what we're going to do is we're going to get, we can focus, and we're going to focus on getting a chia bowl. Get some fruit, incorporate some fruit in that bad boy, and soak the chia seeds if you need to, and top that bad boy with some fresh berries, some banana slices, shredded coconut. Shredded coconut is good. It's underestimated. And then get you a Buddha bowl, and with greens, chickpea, sweet potatoes, broccoli, and avocado, hemp seeds, lemon, tahini dressing, and things of that nature. So, yeah, there's so much that you can utilize, and things that you could eat instead of relying on things that aren't going to be beneficial to your overall growth and health. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is mindful eating. Be very mindful of what you're eating. And I want you to develop a routine of mindful eating, which is basically taking time to savor your meal. Savor your food. Enjoy your food. Like literally enjoy your food. I know a lot of times when we consume, when we're eating, we like to watch TV, we like to have conversations, and I'm not saying that you have to do this all the time, but a lot of times, until we get into the habit of understanding that every bite counts, literally every bite counts. Properly chew your food. Properly chew your food. We have teeth, well, some of us do, and we're, properly enjoy the food, taste it. Don't just don't just inhale it, as Azaria says. Don't just inhale it. you know I know you be wanting to, just get in there, because I'll be doing the same thing. I'm guilty of it too, where you just want to eat that bad boy, and you're not even able to properly chew all the food. But no, take time. We have teeth, we have tongue. Allow your teeth and your tongue to do its part. Let them work out, let them do their thing. Like, let them take your time to chew. And then once you take your time to chew, swallow that bad boy. And guess what that's going to do? That's going to make it easier on your body to digest. It's going to make it so much easier on your body to digest. And I'm not sure if anyone out there, maybe this is TMI, so, forgive me, but sometimes when you have bowel movements and you look at your movement of the bowel, you'll see the bowel in there, and there may be some food that's not all the way done. Maybe there's some food in your meal, and that is likely a sign that, you know what, I need to actually properly digest this food, and chew it up properly so my body can take it in. And I know a lot of times people, they love corn. I'm not a big fan of corn, but I avoid corn because oftentimes when you do have those bowel movements, you can still see the corn in there, and that lets you know that, hey man, maybe my body isn't meant to digest this. And sometimes we have to listen to oftentimes we have to listen to our body. And if your body can't break it down properly, then it's not meant for it. That's the way I look at it. If my body cannot break down what I am consuming, then it is not meant for me. It is not meant for my body to consume. Okay. So be mindful of how long it takes, and, don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. Focus and be intentional about what you eat. Even if you have to be sir, yes, sir, with your food, if you got to get to that point where you're chewing and you're eating and you're like making conscious efforts, hey, whatever is going to get you to where you're seeking to go. That's all that matters. And also it gives you an appreciation for how long it took. Have you ever made a meal? Have you ever made a meal and it took you some time to prep it, and then it's gone in 5 minutes? It's just like, man, I done sweat it for about an hour and a half and making this meal, and I done messed around and finished this in 5 minutes. Like, come on, man. Appreciate it. Sit there, appreciate that bad boy, you know? And I remember doing this pretty often when I was growing up. I was just like, how fast can I eat my meal? How fast can I eat my meal? Not knowing that it's actually doing more harm to my body than good. So now I realize, like, you know what, I'm going to actually enjoy this, and I'm going to make sure that I prep myself properly so I can appreciate what I've just consumed. And if anyone, I'm not doing this anymore, but shout out to everyone out there who does. If anyone has ever out there made bread, like just homemade bread, oh my gosh, that bad boy takes forever to eat. I'm not eat, but to make. It takes so long to make. And for me, I was just like, I'll do it once or twice, but after that third time, no more bread. I'm not making no more bread. I'm good. I'll buy bread, but it takes too long and makes too much of a mess in the kitchen. I mean, that's a super random fun fact about cooking, but yeah, just I want you all just notice how your body feels when it's consuming stuff and how it's feeling comfortable, and how you start to make note of the things that are happening in your body, because everything that you consume your body's going to have a reaction to it. Maybe it'll cause gas, maybe you'll probably have some aches and pains, and that lets you know, like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't eat this, or maybe I should eat this. It just all depends on what you're consuming. But at the end of the day, notice if your body is hungry or not. Look for the signs and signals that your body gives you, and eat until you're comfortably satisfied rather than just overly being, just getting full. Because and a lot of times I'll do this where I'll finish my meal, I'll drink my water, and then I'll sit there for a little bit. I'll probably wait 10 minutes to see how I actually feel. Am I still hungry? Do I need more? Or am I good? Or can I just take a little bit of something? Let me get a little nibble. I'll take a little nibble. Give your body a chance. Now, if you scoff it down, you just scoff everything down that you're eating, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is you're going to start, your body's not even going to have a chance to react. Your body's not even going to have a chance to react to what you consume, and it's not even going to register that it's hungry. It's still working its way. It's still working its way down. And before you even get the chance to realize that I'm not even hungry, there's more food coming. And now your belly is going to start to expand. And this is when we start to get into that, you know, eating with your stomach versus eating with your mind. Be very conscious of it. And that's how we start to gain weight, is because we're not patient enough to see where we actually are, because we're just so caught up in the taste and we just want to enjoy what we're eating, that we don't even realize we're not even hungry. We're just eating because the food is here. Maybe I'm bored. I'm unconsciously just watching TV, watching the news, watching whatever I'm watching, and I'm distracted. And now I'm just consuming because the food is here. I know I'm guilty of this. So I know people out there, I want y'all to raise your hand to the sky if you are guilty of this. Have you ever eaten something? You enjoyed it, and then maybe 1 minute, 2, 3 minutes later, you go back to grab it to eat again, and you be like, man, where'd my food go? Where'd my food go? Who ate my food? And you start looking around like, yo, who ate my food? you know, I know how people have eaten something and be like, yo, like, where'd it go? I know I've done this plenty of times. This kind of reminds me of like a SpongeBob episode where where Patrick ate his candy bar. And then like 2 seconds later, he was just like, ate his hand, and he blamed SpongeBob for eating his candy bar. Just like, bruh, we do this. We eat things so fast, and it's just like, man, I can't believe this. And I've done this plenty of times. Like, I'll eat chips. I'm like, who ate my chips? Who ate my chips? It's just because we're just so consuming. But if you took your time on it, you would be conscious and you'll be aware of it. But it's a common thing. So don't feel bad about it or anything like that. But this just lets you know that we need to be more mindful of what we're consuming, okay? And how long we're actually taking to consume the things that we're eating. So just be conscious of it, and I promise you will notice the benefits. Now, the next thing that we must do is understand our emotional and physical hunger. We need to address this because a lot of times when we are just going through life, we go through a vast amount of emotions. We go through so many different emotions. We go through so many different emotions. And so, whether it's being excited, football season's right around the corner. People are excited about that. So that's going to be a great time to eat. 4th of July just passed. And so people get out barbecue and they're full of emotions, celebrations, fireworks, helicopters, and blah, 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 blah. We're excited for the day. And we're just going to eat and let's take some shots, baby. We're celebrating the 4th. We're doing all these things. We're celebrating. We're getting happy. And these are emotions that are driving the results that are it's the emotions that's driving the actions that's giving us the results that we have, right? So what we need to do is keep track of this stuff. We need to keep track of this stuff. And I know it may be challenging at times, but that's what life is. Every day in life, things are going to be challenging. That's just what happens. Things are challenging, but we can acknowledge that it's challenging, but make sure that we keep track of these habits that we have so we can counteract any type of negative response that is going on that's causing us to gain weight, that's causing us to go back into those old behaviors that we had. So keep a journal. How many of you all keep a journal? If you have a journal, whether you're writing for your goals, whether you're writing for things that you just want to talk about to yourself, make sure you keep a journal so you can track yourself when it comes to the things that cause emotional triggers, okay? And we need to track those eating patterns. And what emotions are typically going to be associated with the things that you do throughout your entire day? And and this is similar. Have you ever? I know when I was younger, I used to work at White Castles. I'm not sure if anyone know what White Castle is. Maybe you do. I don't know. But there's a movie called Harold and Kumar versus White Castles. I'm not plugging them or anything, but that was like the thing when I was working at White Castles. And like it would be stress. I was 16 at the time, but a lot of my coworkers, they were older people and they would get stressed out. And what they would do, they would go to the back and they would start smoking cigarettes. That is an emotional response. And that is an emotion that's going to be, tracked to a particular behavior. And so if you get stressed out, if you get high stress and you start to go to eating chips, or you like to start drinking beer, drinking things, alcohol, or smoking cigarettes. And these things are detrimental to you, but it does give you a sense of, relief for that particular moment. But overall, it's just adding to the downfall of your health. So be conscious of that. Write that bad boy down. And even if it sounds tedious, it sounds boring, I don't want to write this down. Do it. Do it. You weren't doing it before. If you weren't doing it before, you need to be doing it now. Because it's different. We need to create different habits. And the only way we can create different habits is only if we change our behavior and do it consistently. We have to do it even when we don't want to do it. Do it on those days when we're tired, when we're bored, when we're just, oh, the world, do it. We're no matter what, just do it. We are responsible adults. We have a responsibility to ourselves to make sure that we are getting the most that we can out of life and that we're walking in the skin that we're proud of, that we're walking a path that can only be tread for the people who are ready to overcome every circumstance that comes their way. You are stronger than your circumstance. You're much stronger than the negativity that you've been influenced by. So do everything that's within your power to make sure that you're tackling all of these triggers, because all of these triggers can just happen one time. It just takes one moment, one overflow of emotion that will make us disregard all of the things that we worked hard for. Everything can just take one moment. One moment. That's how life is. And it's funny because it's so much easier. It's so much easier to fall back and allow the negative to consume us because it doesn't really take that much effort. But it takes effort. It takes so much effort to get up when you don't feel like doing it, to do it. It takes effort to put a smile on your face when people are yapping and screaming in your ear. And I'm sure you parents out there, it takes effort and it takes patience when you're dealing with a crying child or a baby or someone who's just wang, 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 crying and having all these unselfish behaviors. It's like it takes patience, and these things wane on us, right? So we need to make sure that we're doing everything necessary to overcome those obstacles so we can make sure that we are succeeding in our goals. Okay, so develop some strategies. Like, what do you like to do? Has anyone out here done any meditation? Have you done any meditation? Mindful meditations too, not just, you know, just sitting there. No, be very impactful and very mindful of your meditations. These things are so beneficial. Breath work, utilizing your breath. There's so much power in your breath, so much power in the tongue. There's so much power that comes from you that we don't even underestimate it, and we don't utilize the power that we have. You, yes, you who are listening to this right now, you are a very, very powerful person. You are a very powerful person. You have the power to control the things that you're able to do and the things that you choose to consume. You have the power to ignore all the negativity that's coming your way and to focus on the positive things that it's in your life. You have the power to do so many things that we don't have time for all that negative stuff that's coming our way. So yes, develop these strategies, even if it's outside of your norm. Develop these strategies. Do some drawings and things that's going to keep you calm and keep you patient. Go for a walk with a friend. Maybe talk on the phone with someone while you're walking. you know do that. Speak with someone. We know our community is dope. Speak with someone within the community. I see Queen Parker mentioning hot yoga, and that's a game changer for her. Yes, getting that, getting the yoga, do some yoga, stretch it out. Come on, stretch it out. Stretching is just as important as eating and breathing and things like that. So make sure that we're developing these coping mechanisms so we don't have to fall back to those old patterns, okay? And maybe there's something I haven't listed within, that comes with a particular strategy, but do something that resonates with you. You enjoy gaming, maybe do that briefly, but don't overstimulate yourself so you can make sure that you're not going back to those old habits. Maybe you like watching soap operas. I don't know. I used to watch soap operas with my mom growing up. Not a bad choice, but I kind of like All My Children, As the World Turns, Guiding Light, Young and the Restless, and all that. But that's a different story. But you can watch something so you can understand your emotional triggers, so you're not going back into those old habits. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need to do is focus on the goals that we're going to do. We need to focus on the goals that we're going to do. Okay. So for this week, what we're doing is going to make sure that we develop a consistent, healthy eating habit. Healthy habits is what we're going to do. If you're someone who likes to go out to restaurants and eat, okay, I respect it. But make sure that you're eating at a healthy restaurant, maybe a Salada, or maybe a place that just sells veggies where maybe they have an open buffet. I don't know. So make sure you're consuming things that are going to be healthy for you. Or I would just choose to make sure that you eat meals at the beginning of the week, or that you eat meals at the beginning of the day, and that you can prep your meals, and that you can make the choices that are going to build, they're going to build you up. Next, we want to make sure that we have awareness, like I just mentioned, about our emotional and physical hunger cues. How many times have you heard anyone in our community talk about how a lot of times we're not hungry, we're just thirsty? Our body's not hungry. It doesn't want to eat. Sometimes we hear that or whatever, that crumbling, that sound that we get, that little growl that we hear in our stomach. We think our body's hungry. Like, man, my body want to eat right now. When simply, it's just thirsty. You just a little thirsty. Take a little sip of water. Sip of water be nice for you. Get your little sip of water, drink that bad boy, and you will be golden. You will be golden. Make sure that we understand these things. And when you're properly hydrated, you don't even have to worry about it. Like, your body will let you know when it's ready. So make sure that you're properly hydrated and that you have a focused understanding of these emotional cues that happen. And now we already have a structured meal plan. So we have this mindful routine down. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to reflect. I want you to, think about the things that are going to help you along on this process. And these are some questions I want you to ask throughout this first week. And if everything doesn't click, if it doesn't register, feel free to go back and watch this. But reflect on your week. How did the mindful eating practice change your experience of the meals? Like, being mindful of the things that you're doing. How has it changed your experience? Does it make you have more appreciation for what you're eating? Did it give you a chance to understand the hard work and the effort that it goes into, planning things? Like, is it stressful? Did it get you excited? Like how was the experience of changing these things? How has it happened? And what practices have you done to mitigate anything that's getting you off your course? So, how did mindful eating practices change your experience of the meals? This is the first question that we need to ask ourselves. So, feel free to write this down or come back to it, screenshot it, whatever you need to do. But I want you to reflect and ask yourself these questions because it sounds tedious. It sounds like, okay, it's just here so he can have us do it. No, I want you to do it. I'm here for a reason. Like I'm literally doing this here for a reason. This is outside the parameters of what we're doing in Healthy Alternative. Like I'm literally doing this for you all, because I want to see you all succeed. You did a challenge, you did all of this prep to get to where you want. So everything that I'm stating here, I want you to do, even if you don't feel like doing it. Okay. So at least do that for me. You're here in this call for a reason because you care about your life, you care about your health, you care about the direction that you're going. So make sure you utilize these questions and ask yourself these things. Okay. What emotions or patterns did you notice influencing your eating habits? What habits throughout this entire week that's going to come are you just be mindful of it? Be very mindful of it and notice it. Maybe you're talking on the phone to your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Maybe you're talking to a relative. Maybe you're talking to a coworker. How are you feeling when you're talking to them? And based on how that conversation went, how is it making you feel and what actions is that leading you to do? Like, or what actions is that leading you toward? Is it leading you to want to eat more? Maybe drink alcohol, maybe smoke a cigarette, maybe eat something that I said you shouldn't be eating and you start eating it anyway because, I don't care what animated male said. I'm hungry right now and I'm triggered. So what I'm going to do is eat this anyway and I'll change it later. Because I know at times we do that, because we get into those emotional spirals where we're just everything's blown out of whack. But what emotions or patterns did you notice that's influencing your habits? Okay. Pay attention to those because those are going to be very telling. It's going to be very vital. It's going to be very vital. And like, I know, I mean, I've expressed this plenty of times in the past, but I'll express it again that anytime that I'm pondering or if I'm sitting here thinking about something or even watching a movie, and which hasn't happened in a while, but if I'm doing something, I like to snack. I'm a snacker. Like that's my guilty thing is like, man, I'm a snacker, man. And so what I typically like to do is replace those snacks with healthier options. Like typically I would do like potato chips and all that stuff, but those are greasy and all that. So I would go to plantain chips. Plantain chips are good. Or I would go to dried mangoes. That's a better substitution than eating something that's greasy and that's going to cause me to gain weight for no reason, simply because I have this emotional cue that's in me that's telling me, eat right now. It's like, no, why do I need to eat right now? This is a chemical that's being processed within my body that I don't need to eat right now. But so just identify those habits or those patterns because everything is tied to something. Everything is tied to something. There's a reason why we eat at a particular time of day. There's a reason why we feel as if we need coffee in order to get energy. There is a reason, and if you actually look at the breakdown of what coffee does, it actually dehydrates your body and it puts you into an overstimulated, that's why there's like a lot of crash, like a coffee crash and all that stuff. But that's a whole nother story. But just look at what's influencing your eating habits and the patterns. Okay. Now, the third thing that I want you all to do is think about what meal preparation strategies were the most effective for your lifestyle. Is it prepping things at the beginning of the week? Is it just making something every day? What makes the most sense for you? What makes the most sense for you? Like what was the most effective? And the reason why we want to know what's the most effective is so we can keep using it. We want to use the things that are going to help us in our battle. We got to make sure, hey, if we go to war, we got to make sure we well equipped. You know, we got to make sure, hey, if we go to war with the fat and the unhealthy lifestyle that we live in, we got to make sure that we are well equipped for the things that we're doing. So, what strategy works for you? Do you like to prep at the beginning of the week? Do you like to prep every day? Do you just like to buy stuff from, or maybe a healthy restaurant? Do you have someone cook for you? Is it a group session? Like, what strategies make the most sense for you? Are you going to eat one meal a day? Because that's something that's very beneficial, eating one meal a day. Or And I know a lot of people, they typically don't like to do the 1 meal a day, which is okay. I respect it, but don't eat past a certain time. Like if you're going to eat more than 1 meal a day, make sure you don't eat past a certain time. So don't eat probably past, I would say, like before the sun goes down. Don't, like, if the sun is down, you should not be eating. You know, the main, and if you are eating, you should be consuming this water and things that are very hydrating. But if it's when the sun is already done, the sun is down, you are not eating. Nope, we're not doing it. The sun is tired. The sun going to sleep right now. Ain't no eating going on. So just make sure you understand what strategies are going to work for you and what's going to be the most effective for your lifestyle, because it's going to help you in the long run. And it's good to identify what's going to work. You said you find that ADF is good for you because you don't have to prep as much. What does ADF stand for? Uh, look at me looking it up. I'm gonna be like, yo, what ADF mean, man? Alternate day fasting. Okay, I should have known that. I should have known that. Cast him to the wolves. Thank you. But yeah, see, if that works for you, you find that works for you, go for it. For me, I'm about to start, eating a little bit more, because typically I've only been eating 1 meal a day, which is great. I'm not really like crazy hungry like that, but sometimes I'd be like, man, I want to get a little bit on me. I want to get a little bit on me. But yes, find something that works for you. And also let it be reflective of I want it to be reflective of your lifestyle. Don't overeat, don't overindulge, but just enjoy yourself. Enjoy the day, okay? Make sure that you're utilizing everything that's in front of you and use every tool. So, yes, these are questions that I want you to reflect on and think about, and then you'll be golden, all right? Now, we're going to close with an affirmation. We're going to close with an affirmation. I confidently choose nutritious, mindful eating, supporting my health, energy, and emotional balance. Bam. This is what we're doing. I confidently choose nutritious, mindful eating, supporting my health, energy, and emotional balance. And the reason why this is important to affirm it is because we have to speak it into existence. We have to speak life into the things that we do. We have to speak gratitude into everything that we're doing, because it changes our emotions. It changes our relationships with things on a daily basis once we start to speak life and breathe life into the things that we consume. Okay. And so, yes, I hope this was very beneficial. And next week is going to be, I'm going to focus on something completely different. But I just wanted to get the ball rolling for everyone out there, to give you a sense of direction. No matter what you're currently going through right now, you're not alone. You're never going to be alone. You are never going to be alone. Okay. And but yeah, I'll have something new for you all next week. I appreciate everyone who showed up, who participated, who was in the chat section and all that stuff. I appreciate every last one of you all, and you can expect me on a more consistent basis, as we go along. And I will definitely make sure that if there's anything that you personally want to know about, just let me know, and I'll make sure I talk about it. I cover it and go into deep detail. Maybe you need clarity on something. Maybe there's some misunderstanding, whatever it may be. I want to be a vessel that's here for you to be able to help you whenever you feel like you don't have it. Okay. But other than that, I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy the rest of the week. And oh, I'll post it I'll post it so everyone knows about it. I'll post it probably like in the main group, but I'll tag. But just be like, if you subscribe to this particular channel, you get the notifications and things like that. But I'll make sure I post it in the group so everyone is going to be aware of when these come out weekly. Okay. But yeah, I appreciate you all. And I will see you beautiful people next week. I will see you all next time. All right. Peace and love. You all take care.